Calm before the storm.
Okay, it is 3 o'clock on August 20th, and I'm going to call the Lake Transit Board meeting to order. First agenda item is public comment. Is there anyone online or here that wishes to make a public comment on non-agenda items? Do we have anyone online?
We do, but no.
Oh, and good. Anyone that wishes to make a public comment on non-agenda items? Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Has everyone had a chance to review? I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for approve the consent agenda of the minutes, the accounts payable and the payroll records. Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Carries. Okay, we are going to open the public hearing for Link Transit's 2024 to 2029 Transit Development Plan and 2023 Annual Report. Anyone that wishes to make comments at the public hearing should put their name on the sign-in sheet that Selena has up. Is it up next to you? And then you will be given an opportunity to be heard. The minutes are going to be the official record of the public hearing. So if you do wish to speak, please state your name and your address. Only one person at a time will speak, and it will be, do we time? 3 minutes? 3 minutes. Okay. So first, we're going to hear from Christina, and then we will hear testimony following, and then the board will have opportunity to ask questions. So Christina, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you very much. Give us 1 sec for the PowerPoint up. Thank you, Sam. Should be out of the way for it. Cool. Okay, great. So, yeah, pleased to be here today to chat about the transit development plan. For those of you who have been around before, will look a little familiar. We are required to do an update every year to the transit development plan as a requirement from WashDOT. It is a 6-year plan that sort of sets kind of service and capital improvements for the current year as well as the next 5 years. This report also kind of looks back at 2023, some of the things that we worked on in terms of projects, equipment purchased, facility improvements made, et cetera. And then also the report includes the program of projects, which is a federal requirement essentially, that we kind of list projects eligible for federal funds. So you should have seen the whole report as part of your board packet. I'm going to kind of give a high-level overview of it today, but happy to answer any specific questions if there are any. In terms of document organization, it should look pretty similar to what you've seen in prior years. There's a description just about our service area, about our overall operations, also the facilities that we own and maintain. There's also a section about state and agency goals, objectives, and action strategies. We look at local performance measures and targets. A lot of these have been kind of historically in place for Link Transit, just as an FYI. We are in the process of updating some of these performance measures. That is intended, I think, to be brought to you guys next month. So you'll be seeing a little bit of an update to that. But for now, we've kind of just kept them status quo in this document. Plan consistency, that includes just looking at other jurisdictions, comprehensive plans, other planning efforts in the region, making sure that we're aligning with those. And then planned capital and operating expenses that align with the financial plan, and then that program of projects that I mentioned as well. There's also a series of appendices in the report that I won't spend a lot of time on today, but this actually came out of our 2023 annual report. So not in the TDP document, but I think kind of it was a little bit more visually friendly. We did a lot in 2023, essentially. Ridership is up. We completed a number of capital projects, including the roundabout in Leavenworth, East Wenatchee Park and Ride, a new turnaround facility in South Wenatchee at Malagalcoa Highway and Wenatchee Avenue. Took delivery of a number of new buses, electric BYDs that are out on the street, added new chargers. We did a lot of kind of the background work for our bus garage construction and just a whole lot of other things. So it was a really busy year, I think a really good year for Link Transit. In terms of planned capital expenses over the next 5 years, I'm not gonna go into these in super detail, but there's a number of projects in terms of operational infrastructure, just kind of making it easier for us to operate, as well as transit access, so letting people get to our transit bus stops more easily, more accessibly. Number of park and ride projects over the next 6 years, rolling stock for expansion, so that largely includes rideshare, as well as some facilities expansion improvements, including, you know, chargers and of course the bus garage that is underway currently. In terms of costs identified in the plan, we're split about 50-50 in terms of replacement and preservation projects. So 24.3 million on that side, that is mostly vehicles, a little bit facilities, and that's essentially just painting the outside of Columbia Station, outside of our operations base, and also a roof replacement for the maintenance facility out at operations. And then kind of those improvement and expansion projects that were on the last slide represent about 27.3 million over the 6-year time frame. So in total, my math is right, that's 51.7 in total. Then our planned operating changes, these should look familiar to you. Essentially, these are our Vision 2020 projects that are remaining up till this point. So some later evening service to communities, East Wenatchee redesign, some rural service improvements, some later night service, and we're still kind of working through what that might look like, whether it's directly operated or maybe a subsidy program of some sort. And expansion to our Chelan Dart service area as well. So these are kind of, you know, front loaded in the TDP. There's, you know, a lot of unknowns, I think, in the future, but these are all, for the most part, projects that we've talked about before. And then the program of projects. So again, this is a requirement from the Federal Transit Administration that we list federally funded transportation grant programs. We essentially are just using this for operating. So the federal component is 50% at 3.8 million, our local contribution 3.8 million, for a total of 7.6 for the FY 2025 program of projects. So that's a really quick overview of the plan. Next steps here, we'll receive any public testimony today. As necessary, we'll revise the draft plan that may include some very minor copy edits, and it is due to WashDOT by September 1st.
Selena, did we receive any written comments? We did not. We did not. Okay. And is there anyone online or here that wishes to make a comment or ask a question? No. Okay. Now is the time for the board comment or ask questions.
You will get it in on time.
We will get it in on time,
Okay.
absolutely.
That's it? You're gonna let her have that easily? Okay, I will close the public hearing. And we will be taking action on this a little later on the agenda. Thank you, Christina. Nick,
Okay, first off, we're gonna start off with some employee recognition, our star performers, which Selena will gladly hand out.
oh, where the chair go?
Oh, sorry, Mary.
Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna go get another chair.
Right there,
Chairs are coming from everywhere.
this room is a little bit awkward. I'm just gonna move over here for this one. It is my honor to recognize 2 employees who both have been with this organization for at least 2 decades, one of them, both of you 2 decades, yeah. So every day when I come to work, Jen is usually on the first floor. And when it comes time to nominate star performers, she probably puts more nominations in that box than anyone else because she's super proud of her team. The star performers are nominated twice a year and they're nominated by peers, so other folks. It's not the management team that nominates these employees, there are other people that work here. And I think this is the first time that Jennifer didn't put someone else's name in the box, but someone nominated her. And this is what they said about her. Jennifer has always been a wonderful helper at Columbia Station, which is very true. She suggested that we install brake releases to make it easier for the drivers. So she's always looking out for her team and for the guests to make the driving experience as safe as possible, and for the drivers and the guests. She's an outstanding team leader and I appreciate her very much. She also is our tireless rodeo queen. So we really appreciate Jennifer. Thank you for your leadership. If I could get the board chair and our CEO to come over for a photo together with her. Because I'm the clerk and you guys are the VIPs. So we have a gift certificate for Jennifer for Visconti's for $100.
Ooh, nice.
And it's great to see you. Ready?
Line up
1,
the stones.
2,
Yeah.
3. Congratulations, Jennifer. I'll hold it for So Martin Price has been a coach operator again for a couple of decades. He knows our guests when he sees them in the community. If it's a vulnerable person and they're by themselves, he notices, he calls it in if he thinks that they need to be taken care of. He's always asked me when I'm on the platform, what bus are you taking today? Why are you taking that one? You should take this one. It'll get you there faster. He does more than just drive a bus, and that's why he has a star performer nomination today. I think he's been nominated before, but. So, and in true unselfish form, he asked his kids where they wanted to go for dinner, and so he has a gift card here for $100 for La Fuente. Congratulations, Bart. One, 2, 3.
Thank you, Selena. You're welcome. And Jennifer.
Thank you.
Well, today we also have some special guests here today from the Coordinated Chelan County Health Coordinated Entry and Additional Housing, and Amber and Angie will introduce their group and give us a little update on how things are going downstairs.
We're just gonna share the chair. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Amber Hallberg. I'm the homeless program manager for Chelan County. You may or may not remember a couple months ago, I came here asking about if we could, invade your space a little bit to do some services. And I just want to say a sincere thank you to the Link board, because it's been a very successful month and a half that we've been here. But I'll let Angie speak a little bit more to that. Before I do that, I just wanted to introduce John and Juan. They're coordinated entry specialists. They're the ones who do a lot of the assessments and interact with clients. And then Angie is our coordinated entry lead. So she manages like the day-to-day stuff with coordinated entry, helps out with assessments too. And she's got some really exciting updates for you guys.
I get all the difficult clients as well. I'm the diffuser, I think. Yeah, so we've had a lot of really great success so far. I think we underestimated how many people were going to be going in, walking in, just accessing coordinated entry. So it's been really great. So we thought we were only gonna have maybe 15 people a week, and we get about 60. So it's actually been really great. All the clients that have come in have actually been very kind, very respectful. So it's been a lot better than we thought it was gonna be. So it's been really great. just some of our successes so far. We've actually housed, about 50 families so far. So whether that's been permanent housing, transitional housing, or hotel motel, we have permanently housed 9 families so far in the last 6 weeks. 8 of those have been, housed with, St. Jude's Housing or, permanent housing with the YWCA or, permanent housing with, Women's Resource Center. So we're working with YWCA, Women's Resource Center, Catholic Charities. We've worked with them a lot as well with resources. We've done some transitional housing. We've done 12 households with transitional housing, whether it's at the Bruce. The Bruce is Women's Resource Center, so we do a lot of referrals with them. We've done transitional housing. We've done 3 households with transitional housing at the YWCA. And that's all women and children. We've done 7 households that are with Community Action Household, excuse me, Community Action Council, which is the hotel motel stay is about 90 days that they can stay there. And that's usually people who can't stay at the night by night shelters. So a lot of times they're there before they can get into like a transitional housing situation or a permanent housing situation. Let's see. Oh, this is a great success story. We had a 92-year-old vet that had been sleeping in his van for a very long time. And he came in. Sorry, this one's a little emotional. He came in and was tired of living in his van, couldn't do it any longer at 92. And we were able to get him some emergency shelter. I just can't imagine at 92. Finally saying I can't do it anymore. So we were able to get him sheltered. Sorry. We were able to get another couple who had been living in the streets for quite some time, another voucher, and they're getting permanently housed. We've been able to get 15 youths, some supportive services through Hope Source. And we're also able to help people get employment resources that they've never been able to get before because they just didn't know they were out there. So they're able to get employment so that they can move forward and get housing. We've helped more than 3 families who are going to be homeless. We've been able to use our diversion funding so that they didn't become homeless, and we've been able to help them with rental assistance or be able to get them, get them connected to, whether it was helping them with a deposit or first month's rent to get them into housing. Let's see, I think that's just about everything. So we've done a lot in the last 6 weeks.
It's just a couple of things.
Yeah, so.
So when I said it's been a great success in the last month and a half, I wasn't lying. So just a sincere thank you to everybody, because this is a success of everybody here. So
That's incredible. What a testament to being in the right place, meeting people where they are,
yeah.
right?
And we have a lot of people that call in, not just, for housing, we have a lady who had fleas all over in her RV and just couldn't stay there anymore. So we found solutions for her, whether it's, a pet company or a pet,
Referred into it, but.
yeah,
paid for it.
yeah, referred them to resources that help them get rid of like the flea part, or, there's just been so many things that people call for that just don't know where the resources are that, we help them get connected to the other resources to help them with their situations. So it's been a lot of it. Yeah.
So I have a question, as the coordinated entry program, are you also gonna be involved with the low barrier housing that's gonna come online here in Wenatchee soon?
So that's city funded. They, from my understanding, have their own kind of process that they're gonna be utilizing. Yeah,
Okay. I wasn't sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good question. So unless you're in the world, it's a little confusing how all the different things work.
Well, and it's been great to have Andy John Juan downstairs all the time. And, like she said, there's been no issues with anybody. They've been kind and gracious. They help police the first floor along with our security if there is any issues.
Yeah.
It's been, I just think it's been one of those partnerships that has worked out better than we could have ever thought.
Yeah,
And so we really thank you. And thanks for Kevin for helping out and setting it up. And this is, I think it's just, it's really helps the individuals that have been here for a lot of years and it's not any place to go, so.
And Link's been great. I mean, everybody here has been amazing and wonderful. If we need anything, they're just like, what can we get for you? So it's been great.
So next week, next Tuesday, our staff meeting, they're coming up, talking to all our managers. We'll get some of our supervisors, start exchanging phone numbers and get everybody, so we understand what their role is, our role is. Catholic Charities will be in shortly, I think. They finally got a permit to be occupying the space. So we're all legal now. And we'll get that piece put in place, and then the Catholic Charities, the mental health provider will kind of help grow them and help intervene with any individuals that need help too. So I think it's gonna be a great part.
Right.
Job well done.
Thank you. Good job. And even the unhoused folk have told them that they're doing a great job, so that's a huge
Yeah.
compliment. Yeah, we're on the street and talking.
Like, wow, thanks. So, yeah.
Thank you.
So good.
Thank you.
Okay, just a couple more things, the work plan, I think this is on page 32, if you want that, real quickly, we have a policy review that then we'll be bringing up here, updating our some personnel policies. The uniform final discussion on the uniforms this month, which I'll be meeting next Friday with the uniform group, so we're getting the new updated coach operator uniforms finalized, and they'll be rolled into next year's. There's no cost, extra cost to us. They'll be transitioning into the new uniforms at the beginning of next year. TDP, Christina already reported on that one. We'll be approving that shortly. We are supposed to be awarding the bid this month, and we are way ahead of that. So things are looking good. We're actually looking good. So moving ahead on our work plan. A couple little items here. We have had a busy month. I thought it was July 22nd that they moved equipment in, which is a week after last board meeting, but for a new facility. As you can see, they moved right along. July 24th and 25th is the Washington State Transportation Commission meeting in Chelan. We were up there with a BYD, and this was, I think, we took Alexis, one of our drivers, we left Columbia Station, we drove up to City Hall. We took a tour of the Washington State Transportation Commission up to Manson, Totapole Road, up around the high school or the school district, back down to Chelan, down Beebe Bridge, stopped on Beebe Bridge, stopped traffic actually.
I never recommend stopping on.
It bounces a lot, but you're out in the middle. And then we went down to Beebe Park, turned around, came back up the hill, did a little tour of Chelan, came back, and the bus had 70% state of charge as we dropped everybody off. And I think it came back in with over 60% back to
64. Were you sweating bullets, Ed?
No, my calculation was a little off. I think it's more than that. I figured they were gonna get back here with about 48 and 50. She got back here with a whole lot better than that, so.
Yeah, we were surprised. We were just like, don't run out of juice while everybody's on it, you know? But anyway, it worked out really well. So that was a very good, we were there for 2 days. We had our management retreat on the 26th, working towards the board workshop, strategic plan. It won't happen this year. We're kind of putting it together. We'll probably February of next year. We'll have our strategic workshop during the board meeting. Met with the city of Waterville, and we showed them the new updated graphics, the new buses that will be coming in this fall. I think they have a picture of that. So,
I think I saw one pulled up. Let's see if we can get it here.
it's very impressive. Yeah, we'll show it to you here. Here it is right there.
Sure where the picture was in the slide.
So there's a keep going. Presentation to them. Keep going, there it is.
There it is.
So that's the new bus that will be going to Waterville and the graphics that we designed to. So we'll have 2 of those wrapped like that. The other 2, we're working with commissioners to get some kind of wrap. So we're pretty excited about these coming in. They're actually built to pull that 7-mile hill. They have automatic chains. They have ADA accessible, 35 seats, so. We'll be good bus. It should last And they're, I think, 7-year bus, they will be rotated in with Mission Ridge this in the winter, so it'll be all the last of the 7 years.
You couldn't put a combine blade on the front? That would have been perfect.
Yeah. Don't want to take work right from the DOT. We did, so we had, just got back, a bunch of us, we were down in the Tri-Cities with the Washington State Transit Association Conference, Transportation Conference, from the 8th to the 8th through the 17th. 8th, 17th through the 14th, I'm not sure what date it was. It was last weekend through this last week, it was a long week. Then we had our picnic on Sunday, which was extremely well received. We had a unique contest this year amongst departments. We got a couple of departments together. So each year, there's probably 2 or 3 folks that put all the baskets together for raffling. This year, we said, break it up by department, have a little contest. Whoever gets the most tickets in from the raffle gets a pizza party. And so Gabby at first was not into it, but Seahawk tickets later and a bunch of other stuff, her group won the contest, so it was really well received. We had Chelan County Commissioner candidate Flint Hardwick last Wednesday come out to our facility. Congresswoman Schreier visited last Friday. We showed her what her support for a $4.5 million grant, gave us more additional battery electric vehicles. We had the meeting and tour with the business services group, which really kind of like that. This group with SkillSource and
SkillSource, WorkSource, there were several people in the community action council. Was good.
met with them. We talked about their programs, told them about ours, gave us a tour. Oh yeah, Columbia Station hours. So through the month of August, we were staying open until 9 o'clock for a couple reasons. The heat, opportunity to get people out of the heat, and also to test it to see if staying open longer than 6 actually provided restroom facilities for our guests that needed it beyond those time, beyond 6 o'clock. We found that really folks that were coming in were kind of the same people that come in during the days. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead back to our normal regular hours, 6 to 6 on weekdays and 8 to 6 on weekends. The CDS funding, the congressional direct spending, we did not receive. Real close, but we didn't get any of that. We're starting the budget in October, in August. Justin we talked about that today. We'll bring the first budget hearing to the board in October with adoption hopefully in November. That's about it.
Any questions for Nick? Okay, thank you. Moving on to staff reports. This is where we have the resolution for Link Transit's 2024 through 2029 TD and 2023 annual report. Do you have anything else?
No, Mr. Questions.
I do have a question. On planned capital expenses. On the buses on page 21, the very first one, 4 replacement cutaways, 1.2 million. And as you look down the page, we've replaced cutaways over and over for half or less of that. I was just wondering why are those for 1.2 compared to the cost of the rest of them?
Those are the 4, the Mission Ridge and the Waterville.
Because they have the automatic
What year was that? I'm sorry.
2024.
Yeah, that's this year.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the ones this year. So we have to put in this year's annual report, what we did this year. And so that's part of this year's budget.
So it's
They're
4
different.
total for that dollar amount.
Right, but then if you go down the list, 4 replacement cutaways, 460,000. Those were electric,
Those are E-Transits.
okay, 4 replacement gasoline cutaways, 625,000. I was just wondering why these 4 are so expensive.
They're a different vehicle. They're 35 passenger specialty built vehicle.
Okay, they're not the same size as the other one.
Yeah, not even close to the same size.
Okay, it just, here it doesn't define size. so.
Yeah, it's not even close to the same size.
These are the ones we've been struggling with to try to find a vehicle that would meet the needs for Waterville
Going up the hills.
and also Mission Ridge. Mission Ridge, we were using a 2005 Gillick, which is long past its useful life. And couldn't find anything that, you know, on the electric side that we need or need, so. We went this route, it's it's a lot more cost effective. They're a little bit under the 1.2, they're like 262, 270 a piece, I think, so.
So Randy, also there's 4 replacement gasoline cutaways, they're replacement cutaways for paratransit. So you're in that E-Transit, that 114 to and higher range per vehicle. For that, where your this year's 4 cutaways or figure out is a 34 passenger F-550 loaded, totally different. It's just, yeah, it's not defined here very well. As far as
Does
that,
have the automatic chaining?
for the 4 replacement cutaways for Waterville and that, yes, those two.
I'd like to see that work. That's gotta be impressive.
Pretty slick, actually.
So they are running, most ambulances lately have them. I've ran into a few U-Haul guys that pull U-Haul trailers over the passes. They're totally DOT legal. They meet all Washington state requirement for tires change required. So it could be pretty interesting for all of that. The only thing that I think is the downfall is the movement and speed is like 18 miles an hour top speed. It's all you can do.
You mean, once the chains are on?
Once the chains are deployed, that's all it will be.
Does that include Commissioner Overbeck?
That includes the commissioner override because the throttle will stop you at 18 miles an hour.
Take that governor off. So they're saying there's no sport mode, that's what you're saying.
There is no sport mode.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I would move to adopt resolution 2024-17, formally approving Link Transit's 2024-2029 transit development plan as presented.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. I have HR next. It says Julie, but I think it's you, Lynn.
Is it the staffing report?
Personnel policy related to remote work, shared leave and conflicts.
It is me. So tonight we are bringing 3 separate personnel policy updates to the board for discussion and approval. We will be discussing the creation of a remote work policy. The policy is intended as a temporary situation for employees who may be eligible. For instance, Ron had his knee replaced. He was able to work from home. It's not intended to be a long-term situation. But we did not have a remote work policy in place, so felt like we needed to address that. We will be including, there's information in there that has the policy. Talking about the guidelines, it's intended to be not intended for sick leave, child care accommodations, or providing care for a family member. It is intended to be temporary, infrequent, and at management's discretion. As it states in the policy, it might be appropriate for some employees, but certainly our bus drivers can't work remotely because that's not a thing yet. So we have a group of people that won't be able to be included in that. However, there will be a application process that employees complete that will need to be approved by both their department manager and the CEO. And then there's also included in that packet information from OSHA that the employee would have to take a look at their workspace at home and make sure that it meets those criteria. They are also going to be required to track their meal breaks, their 15-minute breaks. There's a whole group of requirements that have to be met. So thank you, Erin, for helping us put this together. If there's questions on that remote policy, I'm happy to address them. The other 2 changes or updates to our personnel policy include deleting our shared leave program. Historically, we've had ability for our employees to donate leave to their peers who may have a situation where they've used all their leave and are out. But we have people who are very generous and have given their time. With the advent of all of the Washington state paid leaves that have come, we feel like it's now become a redundant benefit, and so we're going to do away with it. We do have one employee who has some shared leave currently, and we're gonna give that person till the end of the year to use it. But we won't be collecting any additional shared leave. And the third change is, as a public entity, we're able to have a compensatory time policy, which allows employees to choose between being paid overtime or taking time and a half leave for overtime that they've worked. We decided to just do away with the compensatory leave and just go to straight overtime. So that is a change that we are looking to make. The personnel policy itself, the whole policy will be updated. These are just 3 sections of that, which will notify the employees of those changes if the board approves these tonight.
Questions for Lynn?
So I'm sorry.
On compensatory time, who determines what a reasonable period of time is, for, making the request?
It's been the manager or the supervisor. Most of the people that have utilized compensatory time have been our guest services folks who've had to cover for each other. And we try to get them to use that within the couple weeks. We usually try to do it within the same paid period, but oftentimes they're short, so they're continuing to have to cover for others, so whatever can, as close to the next pay period as possible. So this is resolution 2024-18. We're asking the board for approval.
It's a quick question for you, Lynn. The home workspace safety checklist that's included as part of this, it shows that there's a signature for the remote worker as well as the department manager. Is that a self-assessment by the employee, or is that verified by the employee's manager that all that is in place to for the visit? Or how is that working out?
We've discussed, well, we haven't done it yet. We've discussed it. Should we send our safety officer there to take a look at that house? I think that I would prefer that it was a self-assessment. But I will look to legal counsel for advice on that. Do I have to go to their house?
I think you should have the option to go to their house to confirm that it's a safe place. So if there's some reason to call into question their self-assessment, that there's the flexibility that the safety officer can go out and confirm.
I think
It's just crazy.
I think it turned out to be way more than we expected, that it would be easy to put a policy together when in fact it's not. So
Well, nobody's gonna wanna work from home. So, there you go.
Yeah, you made it a pain enough to,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
ass.
Gotta
No.
upgrade my house for $50,000 so I can work
It
at home.
becomes an L&I site because it is your work site, and so if someone is injured while working at home, it's under the umbrella of our workers' compensation. So.
Still crazy. But understandable. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Other questions?
Madam Chair, having been a remote employee for over 15 years, I'd like to make a motion. I would make a motion to approve resolution 2024-18, amending Link Transit's personnel policy related to remote work, shared leave, and comp flex time.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? We'll be expecting you to fill this out.
We're gonna call.
Put me on the payroll. All right.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Kaden.
Hello, so for June 2024 sales tax earned in May of 2024. We made $2.6 million, which was over the budgeted amount for the month by 14.3%, which is roughly $300,000. Our year-to-date sales tax collections were $10.6 million. our year-to-date budget amount was 10 million. So we're over the year-to-date budget amount by 6.1%, which is roughly $600,000. This increase was largely due to construction, information, and retail sectors. Our last year's year-to-date sales tax amount was 8.4 million. And we're over last year's year-to-date sales tax amount by 25%, $2.1 million. Our budgeted year elapsed was 58%, which would be $16.3 million. And our operating budget spend was 54.8%, which is $15 million. So we're currently under budget by about $1 million. In July, our capital expenses were for the phase 1 of the bus garage with RH2 engineering at $149,000. We built a record retention room with R&D general contracting for $15,000 and purchased 4 paratransit cutaway Model 1 vehicles for $500,000.
So pages, it's on page 97. Haven't found it, sorry, it wasn't bookmarked.
That's,
Sorry about that.
no worries. That's all I have. If you have any questions.
Questions?
Just remember, this year was 6/10, last year was 5/10, so it was.
Okay, thank you, Peyton. Ed?
So everybody saw the construction on the screen earlier. Bus barn, we pulled up, do we have it? Sam, do you have a picture? The picture?
I don't know
No.
picture is it in a slideshow?
No, it's not. Wait a second. Maybe.
You want to go to bus barn,
So we went through a bunch of different renditions of, colors for the bus barn. Right, I very rarely do this way. Am I at?
Our barn's red.
There we go.
Simple.
This one's not red,
Uh-oh.
so, where's my color? Red color. Steep.
And do you wanna let me share the screen real quick?
Now you can share it. Zoom.
Okay.
Can I manipulate this still? Sweet. No, I can't. Yes, I can. So we went for some different colors. The big one. Do you guys like this? Where's this at? I'm gonna try and get to front door. So this beige color, if you've been out to our building before, it doesn't really do it justice. This beige color right here is basically the beige color of our current building. Out of off. And then we have a darker gray, and this green is the green metal is the entry door, the back entry door, and some of the other places. It's just about the same. That green will also be here behind the numbers, with white doors. I've been asked why white doors, why didn't I do some other color? White doors are easier to replace when they get hit. They're much faster to get. They're gonna get hit. But, that's the reason we went with that. The different renditions of this, were massively different colors. The top is almost a, just off-white. Keep it as cool as possible on the roof. But,
Not to go with black. You opted not to go with black.
yeah, not to go black. There was some question whether or not we should. This picture really doesn't do us a whole lot of justice, honestly. But this is actually a really nice gray. The whole plan is, as I think Christina had it in the TDP, we need to repaint operations. We're gonna switch up the colors of operations to match this when that happens.
Navy gray.
Not really navy gray. It's better gray. Sorry, but it's
Not,
better
not,
gray.
not hard to get better than that.
Pretty cool. I don't know what you guys think, but, we went through a lot of different ones. There was some red on it at one point in time, and I thought it looked too much like a fire station and. Any thoughts?
I like it.
I think it looks pretty classy. The color itself, and I wish I would have run a color swatch, but I didn't. Trying to think if there's something in here that's kind of that gray. Maybe the gray at, Mark's, jacket there. It's about the gray of the building. Pretty close.
Sorry, your jacket is a swatch.
Yeah. On budget, on schedule. So they're still, the dirt crew is still doing, 410s. They don't see any reason why to change that at this point. But they're saw cutting right now, and I've been saw cutting and tearing up to get our water connections in between our current bus barn and the maintenance shop. So it's a disturbance all day long, but we're getting through it. Hopefully they'll be there for a couple of weeks and then they'll just be out of our way for the rest of the period. Still plan to have, foundations and all of the 41,250 square feet of the concrete for this poured by the end of October. Yeah, buddy. They don't want to be pouring out, they don't want to be pouring concrete in November.
No.
So they're supposed to start setting forms, as early as the end of next week.
Eat up the batch plans.
I don't know how they're gonna do it. They've said that they're gonna do this in 3 pours. That's amazing if they do that in 3 pours. So. That's where that's at, and then you can stop sharing. Any questions on any of it? So we are honestly on budget. We might actually be a little bit better than budget.
Sorry.
That's right.
Well, currently Kevin with everything that went on, so Waste Management did not want to take our dirty soil for too long a period of time. It took too long for them to finally say, our contaminated soil, we'll go ahead and take it from you and you can pay us for it. Because we were paying Rimmer and Roder, they were gonna haul it to Waste Management to get us down to grade. So they were taking too long to keep moving forward, so Pipkin came up with the idea of, let's dig a big hole. A really big hole, about 150 feet wide by, about 80 feet wide, 150 by 80. About 4.5 feet deep, and get the good soil out, and we'll put the bad soil in it, and we'll cap it. We can haul the good soil off without having to take the Waste Management.
Could have had a pool.
Almost, be a really cool pool. At this point in time, we should be right about the $100,000 mark on the budget. That saves about 100. Right in that ballpark. 80 is where I figured it's right now. And the money stays local. Which is cool.
Give us a quick update on the cafe.
Quick update on the cafe. Quickest update I can give you is I have to hire a mechanical engineer. There are no mechanical engineers that I can find in Wenatchee, East Wenatchee, Chelan, Douglas County. So I went out to BCE, who is doing our mechanical engineering for a building. And I asked them to give me a price on, level 1 and level 2 exhaust hoods. And designing, because no one will touch it without a design. No one in town that does them, builds them, makes them, will touch it without design mechanical drawings. And the city's probably not gonna give us a permit to run that place without the mechanical drawing any.
You're not gonna see a return on investment on that, quite frankly.
So, Mark, this is where I'm at right now, is to find out what they're gonna charge me. To give me an idea of what it's gonna take. I have a ballpark figure in my head, and I think you could be right. And the big question is gonna be, to you guys, what is the investment that Link Transit should make into this to be able to get a permit and have it be a working cafe again?
What I mean by that is, I don't know that you have to have that element to be a successful cafe, to be quite honest.
I don't know that you do either, but currently, I can't open it with the dishwasher that's there, we can take it out. There's a 3-sink dishwasher down there. You can't have an oven. of any kind. At this point down there, so it's cold. Starbucks, Subway. Stuff like that, has little things, you could probably do that,
Subway won't work because you
but
can't,
that's, huh?
can't cook the bread.
No, you can't cook the bread. According to, well, not in that oven. There is a vent pipe out of this building. I found out there is a 20 by 20 grease vent going right up the wall behind us across the hall from first floor to out the ceiling. It was installed in 1996. So welded grease it. I got it checked out. It's all there. It is a vent hood, but, or a vent tube, but there's no hood in the basement. On the first floor.
Nobody else makes one you can buy. Has to be designed and built.
Have you, Ed,
Every hurdle I jumped into in this thing falls into, you gotta meet the city code, you gotta meet the city code. In order to meet the city code. There's a lot of hoops to jump through, and every one of them I turn around costs a lot of money.
have you looked at ventless options? I know they're not cheap, but
Yes, I've looked at ventless options, and as soon as you say ventless options, then you have to prove that your air conditioner has a makeup air system. In the building to make up the air that you're pushing heat circulation. There is no makeup vent air in this building in order to make the AC up for it. I am being told that you'd have to put about a 15 by 15 AC unit on the roof. And the roof won't handle it.
Those governmental agencies,
Yeah, City of Angie, they're just.
so difficult.
So it's honestly, it's a big question of what's the investment in Link Transit that we need to make for this? If we're gonna do something, where do we take it?
Part of the mechanical engineer will also tell us there's a split unit downstairs that's over in the back room by the dishwasher and prep. room. And that may give us enough where we don't need the level 2 for the dishwasher. You understand? So,
Possible.
but it's, we're at this place in time where, we charge minimal rent. It's more of a convenience for our operators, for our guests. What is the value back to us?
that's where it becomes a philosophical question more so than a return on investment question.
The folks that we leased it out to have a menu that requires some cooking. They do not want to do cold sandwiches at this point in time, so maybe that's an option if we choose to go down the direction of not to install it yet, but maybe a smaller dishwasher in. And cold sandwich option would be the next step, maybe this convenience store type.
So what sort of estimated guesstimate cost are you looking at?
I don't have any firm numbers, but on my head,
Guesstimate.
we're somewhere with engineers' cost. Design, if we got the hood put over both the dishwasher and the oven. And we got the proof that the AC system will handle the conveyor oven that we have down there, 50 grand.
And the
Pretty easy.
previous cafe place, they were cooking in there, right?
Yes,
What changed?
Codes.
code,
Oh,
from the time they got there to the time we got this. I'm being told by the city, we should have had a hood over that dishwasher down there from day one. And I know it's been there for at least 21 years I've worked here, if not before. And it's never had one.
So why can't you go to a 3-sink setup?
We have a 3-sink setup down there.
So
We
why do
could,
you need a dishwasher?
we could totally do that. In a heartbeat, like take it out, we can have a 3-sink setup. That takes away one hood. If you wanna have the oven that we just bought to replace the old one, that's exactly the same as the old one. Then you'd have to have a hood. At least one level 2 hood to be able to cook anything but meat.
in the overall scheme of things, for Link Transit, 50,000, that's not that much money. How much do we make on interest this year, month? I'm pretty sure it's in the financial statement somewhere.
I'm in the same boat as you two guys sitting there looking at me. This is a hard one to do, but it does serve a purpose here too. And there's
That's
a
where I
purpose.
say it's a
There's
philosophical
a philosophical purpose. I was here today, first thing in the morning for a meeting at 9. I was here about 7:45, checking on some other stuff, and I was down here talking to a guy that was plugged into our Tesla, telling that I'm gonna turn breaker off anyway. Next minute he goes, "Where's the closest place to get a cup of coffee? I'm waiting for some people to come in from Seattle on the shuttle." Like, and charging his Tesla. So, 2 blocks that way. That's the closest place to get a cup of coffee from this transit facility right here.
Or holiday muffler.
Well, holidays might let you have a cup of coffee, but the closest coffee shop is 2 blocks out.
Yeah.
They wouldn't offer a Tesla.
Well.
That's probably true. I mean, there is a certain level of things, and then our drivers too, there's a certain level of that and the people that are here. But what is that worth to the community for the next, and how far do you take it? If they tell me a level 1's possible, and we could actually start, and we could design it out, start having a fryer and everything else down there. But they tell me it's 80 grand to get it done. 80 grand for the next 20 years.
When's when they're actually gonna change their code?
When actually makes the codes.
I don't.
Anytime soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have been looking at Nick and Nick, and I've been looking back and forth, it's like, how far do we take this? And honestly, it's
Well, you know,
not us.
I grew up in the restaurant industry. I worked for some in Seattle, and even back in the 80s, putting a small cafe in here, $250,000 to $500,000. Equipment for restaurants and setting it up is expensive. It's just, it is, so. It's been part of Link Transit since 1997 when we opened this facility. We've had a few years where we haven't had a cafe. It's definitely missed from our staff, our guests use it, surrounding businesses use it.
Board to have cookies.
The board had great cookies.
We could have
So it's outside of the box, but is there a way, short term, could be 10 years, with indoor seating, but a food truck? Or maybe you deal with several food trucks, so there's a rotating menu in the parking lot, so you go outside, go to the food truck, they take care of the cooking, bring it back inside.
My guess is there's codes for that too.
I'm sure there are, but.
Yeah.
But the food
Have you
truck
seen the
is-
parking lot?
Yeah, it's hard to find parking.
Just trying to think of something different.
Yeah.
No, that's a good idea.
It's amazing.
Good talk to that too, Jim.
As you look into this stuff and start seeing what we have to do, every place you go for coffee, when it's Fivus or something, you start looking at the ventilation systems they have over everything, and they're pretty robust, and so. I think, in my opinion, if we're gonna do it, let's do it right, so Charlie had a great restaurant, he really met our needs, but you could really have called it the greasy spoon, because the amount of grease we took out of that place because it had nowhere to go, it caused a lot of problems, and if we had issues, or we thought we may have issues with it getting up in our HVAC system, because that was how the grease came, was through the HVAC system. And that'd be far more expensive than to fix this correctly. Right, fire, so.
Yeah.
Oh, that thing. yeah, so-
Thanks, Eric.
So we wanna do our due diligence, get the prices down, and then we'll bring it back and say, this is what's gonna cost. It's, you know, I mean, it's within our authority, but we think it's something that we need to all agree on, that this is a value to Columbia Station and to our facility.
Did we ever find that interest number?
It's about,
$115,000 per month.
Good point.
As, yeah.
Good point.
Let's put it in comparison.
Yes.
I think doing the homework makes a lot of sense, obviously,
Yeah.
and then bringing that back, and then we as a board have to go, okay. If this is, which it more than likely will be, it'll come down to a philosophical versus a financial. Then we just have to make sure that we have a good story to tell, because there will be those that call us into question on that sort of decision, and which is okay. As long as we have a story to tell and be able to articulate that as to why that philosophical decision is made, if indeed that's where it is.
I know to get to
Depends on how.
an engineer's cost estimate in the end, this is gonna cost us some money to get an engineer here, because they're gonna have to come on site and actually see this. What I have had people here come and look. They haven't given me a real estimate of what it is, they all stop at that. Because if they give me any numbers or anything like that, or start doing drawings, they can't bid on it, the locals. So, I'm gonna end up spending some money to find that out. At least their trip over here and find out what we have. I know we're gonna have to move some plumbing that's been done down there and some electrical that's been done down there over this span. It won't be horrible, but that's part of the process. If we will actually move forward.
Sorry. Where do all the local restaurants get their hits designed? Who does?
Mechanical engineers from other places get it done, or you can have. Wells and Wade Mechanical design them and turn it in, and they'll design it. But if they start the design for me, and it comes in over $10,000, I have to put it out for a bid. I can't take their design and have somebody else bid on it, and then they can't bid on it if they give me their design. So it
Depends on what you pay them to design it.
I'm somewhat hamstringed by that part,
But just through our policies.
through our policies.
Right, right.
Anything over 10,000, you have to get 3 quotes, and so it's a matter, it's kind of like,
I'm just kind of curious if you have a provision though, that if there's a sole source. Because if you have a sole source design on this, would it meet the sole source provision?
I don't have a sole source design on this because there's multiple places you can do it. I mean, there are multiple places in town that can do it. They just. Once they start telling me how much it's gonna cost to design it. It goes over that number. That I'm tied to go out and get bids.
Well, get some calls and come back to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other thing that would be valuable if you did, when you did come back on that, is taking a look, you did mention the value added. It's not just to the facility and the guests and the employees that work here. The value added to the surrounding businesses as well. So if there's a way of being able to, look at that, quantify that value added. Because realistically, in my mind, I'm looking at this as this is a $250,000 investment by the time you get everything done. The hood, new stuff, you're gonna bring in fire, whatever you're going to do.
If you're gonna go that far,
You're
yeah.
gonna go into this, you're gonna really do it, like you said, if we're gonna do this, we do this right the first time, it's a $250,000. And you have to look at this and say, okay, it's a $250,000 investment, value added to the community as a whole, what is the value added to the surrounding area? Is it something that we can quantify that as part of the story of the market?
with the equipment we have down there, we only need a type 2 hood, which is just ventilation, it's not fire suppression or anything like that. So it could be, the design will be pricey. Yeah, it'll be in the 50 days.
But I guess the question comes down to is if we're gonna make an investment, what are we making an investment in? Are we making an investment in something that is gonna just get by? Or are we willing to make the investment in something that's going to be here for long term? And it's gonna be really value added, not only to the organization, but to the community as a whole.
So what I've asked the mechanical engineering company to do, and I sent them every drawing I have, which isn't great. And I've sent them all the stuff we currently have as far as equipment. And then I've asked them to come here and look at the whole system. And tell us 2 ways, a type 1 hood and a type 2 hood. Over the whole thing, a type 1 hood if it's possible, that way we could do meat, fryer. Full boat design and then. Hey, you're not gonna do any meat cooking here. I've asked for both. We'll see what comes up.
Because there are plenty successful business models out there that don't have that capacity or that element.
That's true.
Successful.
Yeah. I mean, it all depends on what you're gonna do.
Papa Murphy's. Little donuts. Wow.
That's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Ed. Gabby.
Scorecards. I don't know if anyone's looked through
Oh,
them. No, that's not weird. All right, so total system boardings, for July was at 113,951. So it's up 1.4% from June. And although June was down from May, 4.2%, so we're inching our way back. Pretty great for summer. School's not in session. What I find really interesting in this number, more than anything, is July last year compared to July this year, where we're up 26.3% in boardings when we put in 25% more service, so less than a year in, and I mean, return on investment for sure is there, so that usually takes longer to see, so it's a bit of an anomaly, and we're pretty excited about it. Class 1 or higher preventable collisions and incidents. 4 months in a row now at 0. I'm not sure what that is. Last month would have been a hat trick, so I don't know what 4 is, but it's the right trend we like to see. Wonderful pattern. Combined fixed route paratransit complaints. We're at 8 again this month. Half of those 4 is still the pass by guest in fixed route, so that is still the one that we get the most complaints on, valid complaints on. A couple of the other ones had to do with Link Plus scheduling. Yes.
On the pass-through, are we looking at some system like a light that lets the driver know there's somebody there that the person can push?
We have looked into that. These ones in particular, you know, I mean, it's summer months, so darkness isn't so much the issue. A couple different, one of them was a driver was seeing another driver and was looking this way when they happened to be going by a bus stop. So just an honest mistake, was saying hi to another driver, which is something we like to do because we're checking each other on spatial awareness. Did you see me? Because I saw you. So are we checking our mirrors and looking around? So there's not a pattern like we've seen in a couple different places, but we have still been looking at lights, but there hasn't really gone anywhere that I'm aware of. Ed? Yeah. Good question. So yep, so the other 2 of them, so which would take us to 6 of the 8, had to do with a scheduling issue in Link Plus, where we sent a vehicle when their reservation wasn't for a couple more days, so they didn't need it yet. And another one where we just picked up, we were at the wrong location from where the guest was at the hospital, because there's 6 different doors we could be at, and we were at the green door and we needed to be at the blue door. So, and we of course double backed, got the guest, but still the complaint came in and it was valid. Combined cost per service hour, well below our goal, and below the last 4 months at 139.77. So fiscally responsible there. Cost per boardings is up a little bit from June, and June was up from May. I suspect that this has something to do with our Shaston shuttle. We had a lot of service hours we put in there, and it wasn't necessarily picking up a whole bunch of people, but we were providing that service while the bridge was closed and they were kind of cut off from everybody, so we were providing that service, so that's what I suspect is happening. East Wenatchee to Wenatchee and East Wenatchee and Wenatchee boardings by route. The Route 1 for third, I just find this fascinating from a data standpoint that April is identical in terms of boarding for the Route 1. But the Route 2 and 7 still are our most popular urban routes. And intercity boardings by route. Chelan Manson is up just a smidge from June into July, so that's tracks for the visiting population that you guys have up there, maybe, so I should say, tourists. The 22s at 15.4, but all of Leavenworth with the Leavenworth local Route 32 and the 122 Express are at 19,060 boardings for July. And Rock Island continues to be third behind Chelan and Leavenworth.
Yeah, remind me what the LW local is.
That's the Leavenworth local Route 32.
Okay.
That's a new one, right?
Questions for Gabby? Thank you. You. Anything else? We're good on the order.
What you're just trying to get in under the wire.
Yeah, you missed it by a step right
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
there.